Now, our first conversation with Matt Castelli, who's also seeking the Democratic Party nomination for the House of Representatives seat in northern New York's sprawling 21st Congressional District. Everything I read about you points out your years spent as an officer at the CIA working in counterintelligence. Why did you get into a race for Congress?
I'm running in this race in particular because we need a representative in the 21st Congressional District who's going to put country before party and focus on our safety and security. As I drive around our community, which is now 15 counties throughout the 21st Congressional District, I hear from folks a lot about the insecurity that many are facing. Certainly after 2 years of a deadly pandemic, certainly too as working families are confronting rising costs of daily life, but also because of the politics of division and hate that are preventing us from solving the serious challenges that are in front of us. I was born and raised in upstate New York and went to college at Siena, not too far away from the district. And it was there 20 years ago when 9/11 happened. And that created an opportunity for me to step up and serve. So as you mentioned, I served at the CIA, spent about 15 years there, primarily focused on counterterrorism work. I led teams hunting down some of the world's most dangerous terrorists, worked in the same department that found Osama bin Laden, served in Afghanistan and Iraq. And success there led to an opportunity to serve at the Obama White House as the director for counterterrorism at the National Security Council. And the Trump administration, the incoming Trump administration, asked me to stay on that role. And I did for the first year of the Trump White House. Because, if I've learned anything from a career of public service, it's that when it comes to protecting our communities, my family, yours, it requires us to put country before party.
For Democrats who are eager to see Congresswoman Stefanik defeated, what makes you the stronger Democrat against your rival, Matt Patorti?
Well, I'm the only candidate who can defeat Elise Stefanik. And I think I'm the only candidate who voters trust to deliver for them in Congress on issues that are really top of mind, whether that's jobs, to the environment, to the safety and security for our communities. I'm the only person in this race, to include Congresswoman Stefanik, who has spent their career serving their country and their community. And it's that record of service to our country that stands in stark contrast to Stefanik's record of service to herself. I'm the only candidate in this race who's taken on extremists at home and abroad. And if that stands in stark contrast to Stefanik's record of embracing extremism rather than confronting it.
You think she's changed?
I think she has. And I think we've seen that certainly in recent weeks, where she has really, really embraced extremism and is leading her party down a very dangerous path of hateful rhetoric that, unfortunately, we saw inspire the attacker out in Buffalo. And it's those conspiracy theories and hateful rhetoric that now threaten not just our community, but our entire country.
A lot of Americans are very concerned about rising prices everywhere they go, certainly at the gas pump. Does President Biden deserve some blame for that?
I think the administration was slow to realize that inflation was not transitory, both the administration and the Federal Reserve, and that more effort needed to be put in place earlier on. But, I also went to business school at Northwestern at the Kellogg School of Management, so I'll put my business school hat on. What we faced here with inflation is this serious imbalance between supply and demand. Demand was cratered during the pandemic, as were our supply chains. But we bounced back due to, our economy coming back to life. And in this regard, the president deserves a tremendous amount of credit. But that high demand, the supply side hasn't kept up with us. Now, there are proposals out there to help fix the supply side aspect of the challenges we're facing to help reduce inflation. But folks like Congresswoman Stefanik have consistently opposed those efforts, whether that's helping to make sure we get workers back into the workforce to produce more things, like, providing them with the kinds of things that they need around childcare services or affordable housing. There are investments that we can be making right now to create resiliency within our supply chain that Congresswoman Stefanik has opposed time and time again.
What is the most important thing we do to address this surge in gun violence?
I believe there should be no greater unifying principle than keeping our kids safe from harm. And it's politicians in Washington, D.C., like Elise Stefanik, who do continue to fail us. This cannot be another crisis we continue to fail to solve.
Tell us about the southern border. It appears to be a bit of a mess. Has the administration failed in that respect?
Well, I think they're facing a tremendous challenge right now with the influx of folks who want to come here. There are many reasons for that. I mean, climate change is one of them. Climate migration is a top challenge with the Southern Hemisphere and creating adverse conditions that want to make folks migrate north. But right now, I don't think we have in place right now the kind of border security to create an orderly process for people to come to this country. Now, listen, I'm the grandson of Italian immigrants. My grandparents came from Sicily. I'm very supportive of, legal immigration to this country. But we do need to get a handle around creating security, particularly around our southern border. But in this regard, both parties, for decades, Republicans and Democrats, have failed us in being able to deliver comprehensive border security and comprehensive immigration reform. And I think we need folks who are going to put country before party to actually solve these compelling challenges.
The New York 21st Congressional District is huge. You said the other day, though, that the new district maps make this suddenly, quoting, a hell of a lot more competitive. How do you know that?
This is a moderate district that has about 30% of the electorate are registered Democrats, about 40% are registered Republicans, about 30% are unaffiliated and independent voters. And so the right kind of candidate needs to be able to build a coalition. And I feel very strong about our chances of being able to do so. I'm the only candidate in this race that can build that coalition, uniting the Democratic Party, but bringing on board those independents and Republicans. Because Congresswoman Stefanik's pivot towards extremism is leaving a lot of people out, to include moderate Republicans that support us in this campaign, and I've heard from. They don't feel like they have a home in her extremist version of the Republican Party, but they certainly have a home in our campaign. So for folks interested, they can go to our website, castelliforcongress.com. Feel free to make a donation to help us in this campaign as we build our infrastructure across those 15 counties and mobilize volunteers, get the word out about this tremendous opportunity to deliver real public service back to New York 21.
Matt Castelli, candidate for Congress for the Democratic nomination. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much, Stewart. Really appreciate the opportunity.